Hey everybody, I want to talk about something a little more serious. I want to talk about how cancer and my tattoo career have melded together, okay? My very first year of professional tattooing, I was about 6 months into it and I found out that I had the worst thing in the world. The dreaded word that nobody wants to hear, and that word is cancer. It is a scary word, it's a shitty word, and pardon my French, but cancer fucking sucks. It eats at you and it completely changes your world. And throughout my tattoo career, I've kind of gone through the process of getting through that. I mean, literally, this is my 10-year tattoo career anniversary, and it's my 10 year of cancer. That's later in the year, but it's at the very beginning, it really molded me to who I am today. When I first found out I had cancer, it was the craziest day of my life. I've gone through worse things, at least emotionally, than this, but let me tell you guys the story since they're both related. I was tattooing, it was August 14th in 2009. I was sitting there doing an outline of a tattoo. It was a skull, rose, and dagger. I'll never forget that. And I got through the outline and I couldn't bear the pain anymore. Not to get too crazy, but I had testicular cancer, and the one, lefty, we'll just say lefty, was about 3 times its size. It was rock hard, and like I said, I don't want to get too descriptive with it because I don't want to gross you guys out, but maybe this will hit somebody to get yourself checked out, because I waited way too long to get checked out. But this particular day on August 14th, through the tattoo, just the outline, I was in such pain. I mean, it was early in the day, I could barely sit. I got done with the outline and I went in the back room at the shop and I told my boss, the guy who taught me how to tattoo, I said, look, I'm in some pain. My ball is about 3 times its size. I need to go to the hospital. And of course the customer understood. Everybody at work understood. I left. I went to the hospital by myself. And I got there. I told those who were close to me that what was going on. I told them, stay at home. I'm going to get checked out. There's no sense in you coming and sitting around waiting. So I went there and I'm sitting in that room by myself, just not knowing what's going on. I thought it might have been a blockage issue. I didn't know what was going on, especially because the growth happened basically overnight. I'm sitting there and I get the ultrasound. Urologist finally comes in, tells me what's up, and says, we need to remove this immediately. It's most likely cancer. He didn't say it officially, because you can't say it until you take, until they biopsy it and look at it. But he said I had every symptom of it. And so I left there after the ultrasound. I got home. I had to tell my family and prepare, make plans. I had to call off work, tell my work. They were obviously understanding of it. And the next day, I went and had it removed first thing in the morning. First, I think major surgery, if not surgery, my entire life where I was put under. So I was scared, nervous, had a good support system around me, and even got my PlayStation 3 on my way home as a gift for getting over this. It's even crazier. The next day after this, I had a party that was for me that I had to go to, and so I was recovering from the surgery and having to be the center of attention essentially for this party. It was a crazy weekend. I mean, earlier in that week, I found out my grandma had cancer for the 2nd time. So in this week, my family went from everything being cool, we're planning this huge party, to now my grandma's got cancer. A couple days later, I had cancer. Scariest time of my life. In the end of it all. So then, obviously, I have to go through things like that. I got an infection. I was in the hospital for like 3 or 4 days. About a week after my surgery, I hate staying in the hospital. But after about that week, I ended up going back to work because I was still fresh in the tattoo industry. I didn't want to lose out, and I ended up skip forward, started chemo in September, and I had 12 consecutive weeks of chemotherapy. Every Monday, I had to go for 12 weeks. And then every 4 weeks, like week 1, 4 weeks later, And then 4 weeks later, 3 times I had to go Monday through Friday for about 8 hours a day of pure chemotherapy. It was hell. Just tired all the time. But then after chemo, I would get from there and go straight to work. In the 12 weeks I went through chemotherapy, I was working 7 days a week, mind you, open and close as much as I possibly can. I missed 5 days of work. I was nuts, but I was determined to get my tattoo career started. It was just about, like I was getting towards the end of doing my apprentice pieces. I was starting to really just get it and just start rolling with it, and then bam, I was smacked with this. So I didn't want to lose it, so I pushed through. Eating sucked, not because I was throwing up, but because everything I tasted terrible. So I had to eat like Slim Jims and Shock Tarts just to mess with my tongue, you know, to get my tongue going. But anyways, that's like how I got cancer, what I went through, and I'll have a story later on in the year talking more in depth about it. But I wanted to talk about mostly the tattoo industry and how it relates. Since that time of me going through cancer and going through all the chemo, and I had a surgery in 2012 that finally removed the last tumor to make sure I was completely cancer free. And yes, I'm 100% cancer free and so thankful to be that way. But with this process, I've been able to relate to death. I've been able to relate to cancer. So one of the most common tattoos are memorial tattoos, and that could be memorial for someone who sadly passed away. It could be for, you know, them getting over cancer or their family member getting over cancer. But I can firsthand relate to these people. There's been tons of cancer survivors especially, or memorial tattoos that I've done that mean so much to me. But there's 3 people in particular that I've related to so much, and me doing the tattoo on them has truly helped them through their process. And that to me, like, I had my support system help me. If I can be part of someone else's support system or help them show that they achieved it through the art that I'm putting on them, it's one of the most heartwarming things ever. To do that tattoo of success that they made it through, and that I can relate to them and hear their story. I mean, there's been times I've had to stop tattooing for a few minutes because I'm bawling my eyes out practically, and the customer's crying, because it's literally the scariest thing that someone can tell you, that you can die. I was 6 months from dying and didn't even know it. Flash forward almost 10 years and I'm still here and doing well, and I love it. I love that I'm here. And it drives me nuts when too many people take life for granted. But people are going to do what they're going to do, so I can't let that affect me. That's a whole different topic. But doing the tattooing is something that's so permanent on somebody. But it's something that changes your life. And to have the career that I have, to be able to touch these people emotionally and they touch me emotionally, it's a life-changing experience. Essentially, I wanted to make this video talking about, you know, what cancer has done for me, in the sense of how I've been able to help people and how they've helped me get through it all. You know, it's a hard topic to talk about. It's a topic that I think more people need to focus on. You know, there's so much shit going on in this world that, yes, it's a necessity to talk about, but there's other things. You know, we have people dying of cancer every day. It's one of the most common causes of death. It's the scariest thing in the world, you know? I mean, I've lost loved ones and lost this, but when it's you, it's like, oh my God, like, and that's why I stress that tomorrow is not promised. Why sit around and do it? Like, I still do it, and I'm trying to change it. Why sit around and just let life control you? Let life dictate what you're gonna do. You take control of it. Live it. Because tomorrow isn't given to you, you know? And it's just mind blowing, you know? We too many like, and I'm a huge culprit of this, is we sit and we let things just bug us too much rather than doing something about it. The world is so old, and we're such a small fraction of it. So enjoy it. Stop being so hateful about it. This isn't me trying to put me on a pedestal because I beat cancer. This is me trying to connect to people to see if I can help them get through it. Because I know This is me reaching out to people and sharing my story in hopes to inspire someone that even though you hear that word, that C word, that the worst C word in the world, it sucks. It's scary. There's people out there who go through it with you. You could still succeed through it. Keep yourself busy. Surround yourself with people who love you and inspire you and push you and bring you up. One of the hardest parts about going through that was realizing that you have to cut out the negativity, and sometimes the negativity are people that are so close to you, and you obviously I appreciate all the I hope you get betters and do that, but too much of that can make you sick, so you have to there's support people out there, and if you're a cancer survivor, you're going through it, and you can reach out to me and I will try and talk to you, or I want to be able to help those inspire that it's a setback, and unfortunately sometimes that setback is the end all, but until it's the end, do what you can to enjoy life. And you may enjoy life just sitting around doing nothing. If you do, great. But if you want more, I know that there's mental blocks, but just do it. Especially those, and this is more towards, I'm talking straight to the people who have had cancer and beaten it. Don't let it beat you down. Or if you even have kids, don't let it beat you down. It sucks. It's a shitty situation, and it's okay to cry. It's okay to reach out to people and talk to people. But you're still here. You're still able to do things. And it might not be to the best of your capacity, but enjoy things. I want to talk about one of the 3 customers that I had. One of them, I was tattooing her, I think it was within a day or 2 of my anniversary of finding out when I had cancer. It was around August 14th in 2010. I was tattooing this woman. I was doing a cancer ribbon on her, and of course, that's what starts the story. I was talking to her, and she was telling me when she found out, and I was like, "Are you serious?" She goes, "Yeah, this is my tattoo in remembrance that I beat it, and I got over it." And I was kind of like stuck back, and she was like, "What's wrong?" I said, "My cancer date is as well August 14th, and her dropped." And she obviously had a different kind of cancer than I did, but cancer in itself is a scary word. It's a scary thing. It's real. And then I told her each her stories, and I asked her, I said, what was it like for you when you went to chemo? Because for me, it was, I didn't know what to expect, and there was this feeling that, like, I knew how it felt, but I never understood, or I could never put into words what it was. And when she told me, I instantly broke down, because it was finally those words of what I was able to say, like I couldn't say, but I was able to finally say those words. And if I wasn't tattooing, I would have never heard this, and I probably still today would be trying to figure out what those words are. But it was the minute that I saw that drop of liquid fall into the IV and into my arm, I knew my life was different, and my life was changed forever, and I had to do something about it. And when it hit me, that struck me hard. Like, I literally put my machine down, I had to take a step back and just kind of like, holy cow, that is exactly what I've been trying to think of. I mean, when that drip goes down into your body, you know it's a poison trying to kill other poisons in your body. I know cancer is not necessarily poison, but you got the point. But like that moment in my tattoo career was a big moment for me, because it was like when I was done with that tattoo, she was the first person who went and looked at it and started bawling, because that was her mark of I did it, and I did cancer ribbons and cancer stuff before, but I can one-on-one directly relate to this person, and it changed me, and from there on out, whenever I do a tattoo that's cancer related, I try my best to make it as positive as possible. The second person who had cancer I'm going to talk about is essentially someone that I couldn't be around while they were going through it, and it ate at me. I won't say who the person was because I don't want people to get upset watching this, but essentially the person is the person who's most responsible for my career outside of me pushing myself. But this person got cancer and unfortunately passed away from cancer, and this person just made me think of all the things they did for me when I was going through it, and I couldn't be there for the person because I wasn't wanted around this person. I tried to reach out, I tried to do this, and it was once our chapters ended, it was kind of ended, and it sucked. But I still cared deeply, and I still to this day care deeply for everybody that was involved in that situation deeply, and it sucks that I was like, you ever see, I know this is kind of lighthearted in the sense of, you ever see Meet the Parents and they're talking about the circle of trust? That circle of trust, I didn't do anything to didn't do anything dishonest, but I left, I moved on. And once you're out of that trust, that circle of trust with that, it was, you're out. And it hurt, and it still hurts to this day. But it was because of this person pushing me and showing me things, and it just felt terrible that I couldn't I couldn't connect and give that favor back. So because of that, I vowed to anybody who has cancer, I'm going to do my best to make them smile and laugh as humanly possible, because that's the number one medicine for me, was smiling and laughing and constant joy of being around there. And since I can't pay it back to this person, I want to pay it back to every person I possibly can. And I don't know if you guys can tell me, I'm getting choked up a little bit about this. So if my voice sounds a little raspy, that's why I'm trying not to. And I know I might have a hard time looking at the camera, and this is a hard topic for me to talk about. Just cancer and this in general. It takes things from people, and it sucks. And I'll be there for you guys if you need someone to talk to about it. Even if it's just a vent. The third person I want to talk about is a person who just recently found out that they had cancer and before their big surgery, wanted to get a tattoo from me to symbolize what they're about to go through and to give them strength. And when this person came in, I vowed, knowing they came in, I was going to lift this person up as much as I can, because obviously I know what it's like to be told that you have cancer and to go through these surgeries. And because I couldn't do this with the second person, I vowed to try, I tried to be there for people as best I can and lift them up, just like the second person did for me. And since I couldn't do that for them, I wanted to try and do it for other people. So when this person came in to get this tattoo, it got to a point to where we were laughing so hard that we were both obviously in tears, but I had a headache the whole day, just this dull ache, because I was laughing so hard and my stomach hurt. And this person reminded me that joy really does help. I know this person was crying all day, probably crying all night, and just crying constantly and feeling lost and what do I do? And the fact that I was able to make this person feel joy in all of that sorrow is a true gift. It's not like, I'm not saying I have a gift. This gift, it's a gift given to me, being able to do this for that person. This person who's been one of the most loyal people that I've ever met in this industry, as far as customers go, and building that relationship, that it's a bond, and it's joyful feeling this with people, and this person in particular, I said, is one of my most loyal customers and became a friend. That it was like I'm the first person they think of coming to do this, and I'd like to think it's more than just because I tattoo them constantly. It's because I've been through this, and they know that I'm not gonna just sit there and be like, and just constantly drag the mood down. I'm gonna lift them up, and I was able to do that, and that meant the absolute world to me. I want to end this video. I know it's kind of probably gone all over the place, and it might not make sense as a full story, but the full story will come out throughout the year, especially later on in the year when I've reached that actual date of my 10 years of being done with cancer and all that. You guys will know the whole story, but I just wanted to talk about how cancer has affected my tattoo career and how I try and take what I've learned from that and try and give back to the people, especially the cancer survivors, but with the family members who go through it and may not understand fully what they're going through. I just want to be there and help, and no matter who you are, if I've never even spoken to you and you just need someone to talk to about cancer, like what you're going through, send me a message. You know, I want to try and help you through your story. So I know when you go through it, there's a lot of people around you that are just constantly sad, and it's perfectly okay for them to be sad. You know, you just need to surround yourself with a positive, something positive to lift you up, because positivity is one of the strongest tools that you can have. And I'll leave you guys with this. I shared this on Facebook earlier this week. It's a quote from Elon Musk, and he says, this is going to sound cheesy, but love is the answer. Love is the answer. And it's so true. If this billionaire guy who in the end wants to help humanity, he can do whatever he wants. Literally anything he wants. In the end, he wants the betterment of people because he loves people. And he knows that love is what's going to get you guys through the hardest times of your lives. So stay positive, everybody, as much as you can. Love those people. Love people. You know, there's good in people in the end. There's love in everybody. I love you guys. Thank you for watching, and I hope this video lifts you up and maybe inspires you, or you can relate to it. Send me a message if you need to talk. Reach out to those who need, you know, if you need help, reach out to those, and just focus on positivity. I know I rambled on. I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you for watching. It means the world that you guys watched. I love you all. Have a good one. Hey, you made it to the end. Thanks for watching. Make sure you guys follow me on my other social media networks, Art of J Nazca on Facebook and Art of J Nazca on Instagram. And if you guys liked what you saw, please subscribe and click that little notification bell to Minty TV, because this face is coming at you every week. Thanks for watching, guys. Be creative, push yourself, and you can do it.